think about that type of stuff. So, all right, let's get down to Melissa. First of all, beautiful kids. I love the clothing. The clothing was cute as hell. Really, really amazing sayings. She was asking for $100,000 for 10% of the company. That imputes a $1 million value. Everybody always asks, how do you equate the numbers so quick? Well, $100,000 if it's 10%, and 10% is out of 100%. It leaves another 90%. You have to times that $100,000 by 10. You get to $1 million. Sorry for all of those out there who do understand valuation, but believe it or not, a lot of people ask me that question. All right. Now the clothes are cute as hell, and you know what? I love the cost of the shirt. She's selling them at $22. She's making it $5.50. That means right now she has basically a 75% margin. But that 75% margin is only if she sells direct. If she would sell these clothing to a Target and or another store, the 550 she would sell it to them at around $10, and they would want to hit a magic price point, $19.99. Now, if this is Target, they're probably going to want to hit a price point around $14.99 because they sell to masses. That would reduce her margins. But right now, her margins are only being reflected in the fact that she is selling direct to the consumer, if that's the case. But that the margins always fluctuate. All right. Now, she was running it as out of the factory, out of her home. Hey, I know about that. She then found another person and or another place to start running the goods, and she ended up finding out that Target had goods just like hers in there, and she went over to Target, took pictures of it, and then shot out a bunch of pictures of her goods, and Target took the goods out of the store. Now, we all always talk about how big corporations or somebody's going to take my idea and this and that. She didn't have any trademarks on her designs, and Target did not violate anything, and some maker just probably saw her product out there and liked it and sat there and sent it into Target, and Target did the ethically right thing. Now, how can you learn from that? Well, because think about this, if Target doesn't want to find out that they were working with somebody who was questionable, who was taking and using designs from somebody who is a hardworking family and has two little girls and just making a couple of designs like that. That's not in the best interest of Target. So everybody out there who always thinks that the big boys and girls trying to knock you up, that they're not trying to do that. They don't have time to do that. That's counterproductive to all the things that they're trying to do, as in getting families in, getting especially mothers in to support them. So Target did the right thing, and it was simple. The power of social media. She put it out there. Target answered. Target took it out, and that's really, really amazing. Now, on the flip side, if you have designs that are really, really strong, you should trademark them. Trademark your designs. It's a balance. I've only trademarked probably about I would say 30, maybe 40 FUBU designs because they were such strong ones, like the FB, like the 05, like certain marks. But I have made 50,000 designs because every shirt had a different design, this and that. So you only want to go and trademark the ones that you're really, really passionate about. At her stage, when I was her size, I probably would have only trademarked about 3 or 4, my main sellers, my Nike swoosh, my New York Yankees, whatever the case is. So be very, very careful about how you spend the money, but you also have to be strategic. If you know that you're going with something and you're going to go hard with that one logo or design, then make sure you trademark it, because I can't say that you're going to catch all the Targets in the world, all the makers in the world that are selling it to the Targets. How many other stores could her product possibly be in right now? When Target returned those goods to whoever they returned them to, that person didn't burn those goods. That person then went and sold them somewhere. They could be on the streets. They could be in local boutiques someplace. They could have sold them online. So just giving you a couple of things to think about and roll that around in your head. Now let's get out into the deals. Well, Kevin O'Leary didn't feel that it was a big enough company, and many of them didn't feel whatever their reason was for the deals not to be done. So all the sharks were out. Kevin, Robert, and Cuban were out. Now you have Barbara, who sat there and said, "I have an offer for you." We didn't really hear from Lori at the time. Barbara's offer, she decided, is this. She said, "Well, listen, you know what? reason the sharks are out is fine. I have something that I think I can use to help you. You do not have a good social media presence right now, and you're going to depend on Amazon and this lift that you had in sales, which is about $340,000 in sales over the course of 2 years. But most of them were from the spike of when everything went viral on due to the Target situation. That's kind of like being on Oprah. That's kind of like being on Shark Tank. Oprah and Shark Tank and viral situations can get you only so far, but after that, you have to then go in and create and run the business. I mean, if you're in business for 6 months, then it's fine. But if you're in the business for the long haul, you have to sustain the business over a course of time. So this was the reason why many of the sharks are out. They were saying, I see this little blip, but then you went back down, or you didn't manage to maximize this blip. Here is what Barbara's thinking was. Okay, you don't know how to do that, but I have a company called Grace and Lace that's done $8 million worth of sales, and most of them are direct to customers. That means you're not making it for $5 and selling it to a store for $10, and then they're selling it for $19.99. You're making it for $5, and you're selling it for $19.99 or $22. You get a full amount of margin in there. You get 75%. If you are selling direct to customers online, your cost of selling that could be as high. Your advertising, meaning direct Facebook ads, Google, pay-per-click conversion, it can be as low as 15%. It can be high as 25%. But if you were selling direct to a store, such as a retailer, a lot of times we put about 5% to 8% into advertising and marketing. The reason why you can spend so much more, obviously, on social media targeting is because you're making much more. Your margins are higher. That means that you end up retaining more, and you end up knowing who the customer is, so you can resell them, retarget them, resell them. You can find out why they purchased, why they didn't. So that's the theory behind that. Barbara gives her an offer for $100,000 for 40%. The reason why Barbara offered $100,000 for 40% is, she said, because her company Grace and Lace has learned how to target these type of individuals who buy clothes, mainly females and mothers. And Grace and Lace are I believe, in the hosiery business. Melissa did not feel that she wanted to be part of Grace and Lace's system, because I believe that Barbara was going to take probably about 20% for herself, give another 20%, or sell another 20% to Grace and Lace. So Grace and Lace has skin in the game. And Melissa would retain 60%. She is still controlling, and now she would not only have one shark, but at the end of the day, she will have two sharks. She'll have Grace and Lace, who's proven themselves in this world. She'll also have Barbara. She then starts to basically capitulate and not know if she wants to do the deal. Lori is about to come in. Now, you have to remember, Barbara said, I want to give you this offer. I'm excited about this. Everybody else is out besides Lori. Now, this pitch could have been an hour. This could have been 2 hours. We don't know how long. So we don't know how long Melissa was delaying on getting back to Barbara. Remember what I told you. No matter what side of the table you are, the most important thing is people want to feel important. So even if it's an investor like Barbara, she wants to get an answer. She wants to at least get a counter. She wants to know if you're interested. You don't sit around and you just wonder what's going on. Now, again, just like you, I don't know the full capacity of the story, so I'm just letting you know my version of it. Then Barbara gives her an ultimatum. If Lori gets out her offer, not even take it, if she gets out her offer, Barbara is out. Now, many of you have seen me do that before. Why? You want decisive partners, number one. Number two, you want to feel like somebody's excited about doing business with you. So, you know what? Come back with a counter immediately. The young woman, Melissa, said, I don't want to be part of Grace and Lace. And Barbara answered her with, you will not be part of Grace and Lace. You will be, they just know the business. They don't make anything in your area. But here's what Barbara's trying to do. Barbara's trying to secure her investment with somebody else who knows how to distribute. It's all about a pipeline. You know when you've seen this before? If you ever seen the Daymond John, Billy Blanks episode, when I wanted to be partners with him, but I wanted to take him over to Zumba because they were in the world of dance and they knew how to get the product out there, and he declined the offer because he didn't want to be part of Zumba. I went outside of the tank and I went to express to him what I was trying to say, that Zumba doesn't want part of your business. It's almost like going and saying, hey, I know who has distribution. So you're making lotions and somebody else is making pots. I want to take you into Macy's because they have an aisle for pots and they have an aisle for lotion. They don't want part of the company. They want to put you in that aisle because the people are coming in there and they have the people to sell the goods to. All right. Well, what happens? Well, this woman, what's her name again? I'm sorry. Melissa decides that she's going to wait for Lori's answer. Lori comes out with the "I'm out. Good luck." Barbara now pulls her deal off the table. Well, Lori was saying, well, you know what? You shouldn't have made me the bad guy. She didn't make you the bad guy. She didn't make Lori the bad guy. You may have, once you would have heard, if Barbara said, I'm going to take that deal off the table, then maybe if you didn't want to be the bad guy and you knew that you were going to be out, then maybe you should have said, maybe you should take her deal. Or maybe the woman should have said, I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, and whatever the case may be. That is negotiation. That's what it is, and you have to be decisive. And maybe the woman just did not feel that Barbara was the person she wanted to be in bed with. On the flip side, here's what I think about Melissa. I think that she misunderstood the deal because when she left the tank, she said that she wanted to be a person who stood on her own. She absolutely would have stood on her own. Entrepreneurs don't want to take other people's businesses. Target didn't want to take her designs, and Grace and Lace most likely would just show her the back end on how to monetize social media. So I, I think I wish Melissa would have taken the deal, but I also think Melissa will be stronger from this. But I'm giving you insight on why that deal was it was broken down that way. But regardless, let me tell you one thing about that woman, Melissa. She started in a home. She now makes clothes and found somebody else how to manufacture the clothes at a decent margin, and the designs that kick ass. And she does not look like she's ever going to slow down. So hopefully somebody else watching the show also can offer her some of those skills, because those skills can be learned and or acquired. It's going to just mean that she's going to have to do it over 2, 3, 4 years. She's going to be okay. So that is what I think about Melissa and Sandilake Clothing. And if you don't have time to watch the show, or you didn't have time, check out Sandilake Clothing. It is absolutely adorable, and I am in the fashion business, and it's some cool stuff. So now, next thing is not a deal. Next thing is actually